Hey you guys, it's Rita. Welcome back to my channel. So today we have a very exciting video as it is going to be my very first video where I'm back filming. I've been out of town for almost... We were out of town for almost like a week and a month and a half, almost. Maybe a little bit less. And I am recovering as we speak from a major surgery. I will be talking about that in an upcoming video. I want to do kind of like a more relaxed chit-chat video, just doing some makeup and kind of like giving you all the scoop of where I've been. But today we are going to be taking a look at Charlotte Tilbury's newest release. She just came out with this Hollywood Flawless Eye Filter. So if you're familiar with the brand, you probably know that she has the Hollywood Flawless Filter product. I want to call it like a base. It can be used as a primer, it can be used as a highlight, it can be mixed with foundation. I absolutely love it. It's what I wore today for my base as my primer. I do have a lot of Charlotte Tilbury products on my face with this makeup. I just wanted to, use more of the brand as I was going to be using the eyeshadows. All of the makeup products that I'm wearing right now will be in the description box below. But first, we are going to be looking at some arm swatches. I did pick up 2 of the palettes. She came out with 3 in this collection. I picked Star Aura and then I picked Eyes of a Star. So Star Aura, you can find it on the Sephora website. Both, or the 3 of the palettes, retail for $53, which is her usual pricing. Beautiful packaging. She did switch it up for this collection. And then here is the palette, a little close-up on the inside. Beautiful, very, very light tones. So I know this is not going to be for everyone. Not really just because of the colors, but also because I know a lot of people might not like that kind of shades, like very muted in a way. And then secondly, we have Eyes of a Star, which this one was the latest in being released. She first released the other one with, I believe, Viva's Light. I'm not remember the name. I'll put it right here. I did not pick up that one just because, I don't know, I just didn't want to pick up the 3 of them. I wasn't sure I was gonna like that that black color, and it is Viva's Light. It's right here. It does come with a black color, so I just didn't care for that one. Maybe I'll pick it up at some point, but I don't think anytime soon. But for today, we're gonna go over these 2 ones I am wearing today on my eyes. Star Aura, which is the lighter one. It is kind of upsetting that this one is not going to work for everyone. Like if you are more of like a medium dark to dark tan skin shade, this might not work for you. But she did come up with the other 2, which I'm pretty sure they will work for a bigger variety of skin tones. I've heard a lot of people talking about how these eyeshadows have less ounces in them. So these ones are going to be 2.8 grams of product for the full thing. So I was talking to my husband, and my husband is a chemist. He will actually be talking to you a little bit more about this in probably an upcoming video. He broke down the formula of these 2 eyeshadows, and he does mention that. As a quick sum up, he's pretty much saying it does not matter, like they're not giving you less product. It basically means the formulation of each eyeshadow is going to be different. The density, the weight, they're giving you the same product, but because of what's in each formula, the weight can change. But that doesn't mean that you're getting less product, if that makes sense. He'll explain a little bit better. He's a scientist. He knows what he's talking about. I do not. That video is coming up also probably after this one. So anyway, let's just get right into swatching and on first impressions of each one of the palettes. closer look at the palette. So this one is Eyes of a Star. So honestly, it does not look as I thought it would be. I don't know what I was expecting, but it definitely is nothing like I was expecting in my head. So let's start with the very first shade, the prime, that's going to be up here. And I'm just going to use a flat shader brush. This one is from Fenty. And I'm going to just apply this all over my lid. I'm going to go ahead and use my finger instead to apply, just because it didn't give me as much intensity with the brush. So this color seems kind of like a darker, more like ochre, kind of like gold shade. So it's not as intense as I was picturing it. So let's go ahead and move on with the second shade. And I'm going to use a fluffy brush for this one, and this one is just called the Enhance. So I'm going to run this on my over on my crease. This is a really pretty shade, but the eye look is coming out very more smoky than I wanted to, but that's okay. I guess just by looking at it, I mean, you kind of can tell that this is going to be a bit more smoky than the other one that I got, which is, the other one is the Star Aura. I'm going to use the third shade, which is called the Smoke, to go ahead and smoke out my crease just a tiny bit more. And I'm using a more dense, more precise brush. I don't feel like that's giving me much, so I'm gonna go ahead and just apply with my finger, and then I'll just go ahead and blend it in. Okay, yeah, that is such like a better application, you can see right there. But I'm going to use my brush now to just blend this into the crease. So now that that is blended, I'm going to reapply a bit more of the first shade, and I'm going to do that with my finger as well, just kind of like all over my lid. And with that same shade, I'm just going to highlight my inner corner. And to finish up, I will be using the dark shade to create a wing line. I don't know if I'm going to wing it, but I'm just going to do a very tight line on my lashes. I'm going to wing it out just a tiny bit. And now I'm just going to use the third shade we use, so this one right here, and I'm going to run this on my lower lash line. Here is, of course, nothing, but here is the eye with the eyeshadows. I will go ahead and apply lots of mascara. I'm going to be using the Pillow Talk Push-Up Lashes just to give me a little bit of more definition, but that's kind of like side by side. So here is the final look, again with Eyes of a Star. So just a little closer look at everything. I did just apply lots of coats of mascara of the push-up lashes, the Pillow Talk. But here is what the eyeshadow. For today's look, we're gonna be using Star Aura, which is the kind of like lighter palette out of the three that she came out with in this collection. And this one is probably realistically the one that I'm gonna use the most, because I love this very light tone, especially for every day, and especially now that I really have nowhere to go to. But anyway, I'm going to start with the first one right up here, which is the prime. And I'm just going to use a brush and see how it applies with just a brush. I've already swatched this, but I haven't really used them on my eyes. I just swatched them for the video over on my arm. I did my arm swatches. This one is kind of like has very light, sparse glitter. I just applied it right now with my hand. I'm sorry, with the brush. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use my finger. And I did want to go for a bright lip because I knew that this palette was going to be the lightest one. So now we're going to go for the second shade, which is the Enhance. And I'm going to use the same brush. So this is just a Wet n Wild brush. And I'm just going to apply this all over my lid. I'm going to use Define, which is going to be the third one. And I'm going to use this all over my crease with another Wet n Wild fluffy, more blender brush. These colors just don't seem as pigmented as her regular formulation. I will be giving you some more thoughts after I actually finish using it and compare them both, but yeah, they're definitely not as pigmented as the other ones, and I found, at least on the other palette, that it was better application for me to use my fingers. But I still wanted to use the brush just to see how I like it, but I feel like I'm gonna go now in with my finger, same shade. So we're in the third shade right here. And I'm gonna go back to the brush and just kind of like blend everything really into the crease. I feel like this is the ultimate Charlotte Tilbury look. Very, very shiny and very sort of like glamorous, but in a natural way. Just very, very Charlotte Tilbury. Okay, then lastly, I'm going to grab the darker shade, which is going to be the Smoke. So it's going to be the fourth one down here. And I'm just going to kind of like run this on my lower lashes. Oh, this one is very dark, so I'm not going to use it as much, just a tiny bit here on the end of my eyes. I'm going to change to a smaller, precise brush, and I'm just going to run this on my upper lash line just a little bit to kind of like just bring in a little bit more of definition, even if it's not too defined, just to kind of like give that lash line appearance of being a little bit more full. For my inner corner, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the prime shade with my pinky finger, and I'm just going to apply this. Wow, that's very, very intense. That's very shiny. So now I'm just going to apply again the prime, the first shade we used. And on my finger, I'm just going to dab it just a tiny bit on my center of my eyes. We are all done. I'm gonna get in closer so you can take a better look at the eyeshadow before I actually do mascara. For mascara, I'm gonna do the same thing. So actually my full look, I wanted it to be exactly the same. I just switched up, of course, the eyeshadow and the lip, but I wanted the skin to basically look exactly the same as on the other, whenever I use the other palette, so nothing would be different. The only thing different again is the lip and the eyeshadows. So I'm gonna be using push-up lashes like I did yesterday for the other palette. So here is what the eyeshadows look like. For my final thoughts, I do have a strong opinion in both of them. I'm not going to lie. Eyes of a Star made me a little bit iffy. You saw me applying it. I just had a little bit of a hard time. Brushes didn't seem to do the trick. So I just went on with my fingers. Application went on very smooth and very easily once applied with my fingers. I did have to go on, of course, with the brush to blend out the edges on both of the eyeshadows. But for Star Aura, which is the lighter one, brushes were a little bit more easier to use, I guess, than on Eyes of a Star. So this one, I think like you can get away with using both brush or fingers. I didn't have the same opinion with Eyes of a Star. I just felt like brushes were just not cutting it for me, so I definitely went on with my fingers. I probably saw on the clip. That being said, I don't think that's an issue. For me, I feel like the major differences between these eyeshadows and, you know, her regular formulation, she changes her formula a lot. So she started way back with her formula, and it was probably not as intense or not as pigmented as I guess we might just be accustomed to nowadays, where eyeshadows are intensely pigmented. Then she came out with new eyeshadows back last year, which were the color kind of like coordinated eyeshadows, like Color Eyes. You would use whatever palette. Those eyeshadows, she stepped up the game big time. They were super pigmented, super intense, super blendable. They were just A++. I am very happy with those eyeshadows. Then she came out with this newest release just recently, and they are completely different. These eyeshadows seem more of like even a drier formula whenever you touch them. That doesn't mean that they're not easy to apply, because they were a dream with my fingers, but they might not be the easiest ones to apply with your brushes. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking about purchasing this. I'm not saying they're bad quality by any means. I really like them. They are just completely different also in formulation between each other, because this one I just could not get around using the brush. Just used it to do kind of like a little fall wing liner, and I did have to wet my brush and to blend out the edges. But actual application for the eyeshadows to basically have the pigment on my eyes, I realized that fingers were the best option. That being said, I really love the story, the color story of this palette. It is definitely a more smoky one, so keep that in mind. You're not I mean, unless you like to go for like more darker smoky eyes for your everyday. For me, it's not ideal. I really prefer more light, pinker, neutral shades for my everyday, but this one is one that I will definitely be pulling out whenever I want something more smoky, something kind of like more of a sexy eye look. This, it will be my go-to, even though the application was not, I guess, as easy with brushes. With my fingers, the eyeshadows went on very smooth. They are very I want to say they are not as pigmented as you would expect by just looking at them, but once you start applying them, and whenever I actually blended the edges with a brush, you can see on the video they are very punchy, and you can actually see the pigment there. The only thing that I kind of like have to say to these two shades, so the Enhance and the Define, so I feel like these two are very similar once you are blending them together. So first I went on, you know, with the base, and then you saw the application. I felt like there was not a lot of difference once these two were blended into the eye. Kind of like just became one single color. So that's something that you should keep in mind, because that was probably the only fault I could see in this palette, on top of, you know, the brushes. But I feel like not everyone cares for brushes. Like, it's not something that is gonna break or, you know, make or break the deal for me. I still like it, and I really like the eye look that I came up with. Like, I felt like it was very sexy, very beautiful, very easy also. Even though I couldn't use brushes, or I used them very minimal, they just blended out itself. That's something very important, and I just realized whenever I was applying them with my finger and then I went on with my brush, literally I grabbed the brush, just went on my crease and blended the edges. The eyeshadow look just kind of like came out to life by itself. Very easy, very fast. To me also, this is maybe lacking a bit more of the shiny that Charlotte Tilbury is very known for, because these two shades are not kind of like as shimmering or as shiny as her usual shades. I feel like maybe this golden one, like it's kind of like a more ochre gold. If it had been a tiny bit more sparkly, I would have been very satisfied. Needless to say, I like it. I'm going to use it a ton. But I don't want to say this is going to be my favorite palette of hers, but it's probably on my top 4. I need to think about this because I do have a lot of her palettes, and I feel like every time I get a favorite one, right? But this one was a special one. It's the one that I'm wearing today. I really love the spark and the, you know, just, I don't want to say glitter, but the grown-up glitter. I always keep calling her grown-up glitter. It's very beautiful. I love how simple it is and how subtle it is, but at the same time, it's just very stunning. Like, whenever I opened the palette, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed. I thought, how in the world is that going to work for me? It's too light. The colors just look too similar to each other. But once I applied them on my eyes, my goodness, I was just blown away. The quality is beautiful. They are very soft. They're very pigmented. They are just very smooth. They work with each other so beautiful. I feel like Charlotte Tilbury always has that completely mastered. Like, she makes these squads to just work so perfect with each other that even if you know nothing about makeup, you just grab one of her quads and literally follow what she recommends in the back, you'll get a stunning eye look. So that is going to be for both of them. But specifically for this one, Star Aura, I feel like it gives you that beautiful supermodel glowy sparkling eye that I feel like it's what she always, you know, pushes, like the beautiful magical eye look. And I feel like that is absolutely, you know, given to you with this squad. So I don't, honestly, the only downsides, I don't know how this is going to work with someone more of like a tan darker skin tone, but the shades are so shimmering and beautiful, like in a way that even though they're light, I feel like even if you're darker, this pigment, and I'm sorry, this shiny and sparkly would still look beautiful no matter what skin tone you have. If I were to completely be honest and tell you, okay, if you want to buy one, I would just go with Star Aura. It is just beautiful. It's very sparkling. It's going to give you that ultimate Charlotte Tilbury eye look. You know, whenever you're looking at her videos and her models, it's like, my gosh, she's just absolutely stunning. Like, her eyes look beautiful. Like, everything is just stunning and perfection with her models when she's applying the makeup. I feel like Star Aura will be giving you that eye look, that ultimate Charlotte Tilbury eye look. Let me know in the comments down below if you're gonna be picking any of these palettes, or maybe if you have Divas Light. Let me know how you like it. Should I pick it? Should I just skip it? Definitely let me know on the comments down below, and in my description there will be all the products listed of what I used on my face today and yesterday for the other look. Anyway, thank you guys. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!